A Seton Scout Naturalist production. Let's spend a day on a nature-filled Seton canoe trek. Ernest Thompson Seton canoed 2,000 miles into the Arctic prairies to study caribou. This canoe trip will be shorter. Like Seton, however, our main focus as we paddle will be studying nature in the wilderness. Scout Naturalists Jenny and Jeremy have planned stops focusing on nature discovery. Let's join them on one fun-filled day in the wilderness with a bunch of scouts interested in nature. Everyone arises for an early morning solo. John peers out on the lake. Grace sits on a log along a forest path to write in her journal, just like Ernest Thompson Seton many years ago. John spots a nest of yellow-bellied sapsuckers. Everyone gathers in a forest near the campsite and shares their experiences on the solo. Jenny saw an Arctic three-toed woodpecker and drew it in her journal. Sam was so quiet a fox walked right up to him, then ran off. Everyone gathers quietly for breakfast and eat a simple meal of oatmeal with fruit. Camp is quickly taken down to allow lots of time to explore the wilderness during the day. Everyone launches their canoes to paddle across the lake to visit a bog. The group is pleased to see a common loon fishing. Another loon is heard in the distance. Canoes are stashed, and everyone walks along a boardwalk to the bog. Everyone learns that the bog used to be an open lake formed as a block of ice melted during glacial times. It is now an acidic environment filled with sphagnum moss. Jeremy shows everyone the insect-eating pitcher plant. Jenny points out a Canada jay feeding on berries right by the bog. She also pointed to a beautiful pink and white showy lady slipper orchid. Scouts have been coached to paddle quietly upstream so they can view much wildlife. Great blue heron sits motionless. Jeremy tells everyone it's a green frog. It sounds like a loose banjo string. A turtle is seen chomping on spatterdock fruit. A family of pine-billed grebes is spotted, along with a cedar waxwing up in a mulberry tree, and a tiger swallowtail on a thistle plant. Jewelweed is identified by Jenny, and then a hummingbird appears. Everyone leaves the canoes by the creek. Jeremy knows a pathway that parallels the beaver pond. Everyone gets a great look at a beaver swimming in the pond. A healthy lunch is eaten by a waterfall. After lunch, everyone follows Jeremy into the woods to gather kindling and wood for the fire. Jeremy lets everyone know how Native Americans used birch bark for their canoes. He tells everyone to collect birch bark only from logs on the ground. It's flammable and a great fire starter. After lunch and a brief siesta, everyone paddles up the stream to a special place that is marked on the map. Looking at the map, Jenny and Jeremy find that huge stand of eastern white pine trees. Young Benny spots a bald eagle high above. Jenny tells him that there's a nest nearby. Each camper has a picture of themselves standing in front of the big white pine tree. Jeremy shows everyone how to identify the eastern white pine and also a bit about the history of this immense tree. There are 5 needles in a bundle, one for each letter in the word white. W-H-I-T-E. During colonial times, this tree was called mast pine. You see, before the American Revolution, from 1750 to 1770, the British mandated that pine tree logs be made into masts to hold up the sails of British ships. The King's Broad Arrow, 3 hatchet slashes, was the symbol commonly used to mark pines reserved for the Royal Navy's ships. When the British weren't looking, colonists felled the trees. The eastern white pine ended up in several different Revolutionary War flags. On the way back to the canoes, everyone is happy to find some blueberries along the trail. Leaders thought ahead and can provide Ziploc bags to put the blueberries in. Tomorrow, on a special Labor Day, everyone will feast on blueberry pancakes. Jenny leads everyone in a nature steal the bacon game to review what was learned about the plants and animals during the journey. The group paddles by the site of an old wooden hotel that burned down in 1917. Jenny passes around laminated historical photographs of the hotel. At 4 p.m., everyone arrives at the campsite. Due to our leisurely wildlife-focused paddle, everyone has enough energy to swim, fish, and birdwatch. Time to hoist the bear bags up a tree. After dinner, Adult Advisor Jack sings songs with everyone by the campfire. Jenny tells a story during the campfire about the hotel shown in pictures earlier in the day. She shares a true story about how Shirley Simmons arrives on a train from New York City and is taken by stagecoach to the hotel. Shirley is charmed by her handsome, good-humored Adirondack fishing guide, Les Hathaway. Jenny intertwines descriptions of what it was like to be a tourist back then, before cell phones and jet planes. A barred owl in the distance. Everyone except fire watcher Jack heads over to the owl beside the lake. It is spotted in a tree. At 10 p.m., everyone goes to bed and falls asleep looking forward to the next day's adventure. The loon calls lull everyone to sleep.